Welcome. Today is a 2-for-1. We're going to be doing first a homemade chicken stock. So in this pan right here today, I've got a fresh chicken. I'll show you a little bit more of that in a minute. And that'll be the broth basically for our broth bowl. We're going to be making a chicken broth bowl with some Asian spices and flavors. And we want to inspire you to make this easy chicken stock at home for the base of all your soups. It's really, really simple. Basically, you want to get a fresh and a local, if you can, organic chicken, and that was our base, and we basically just put that in filtered water, and it's so simple. All you have to do is add celery, carrots, onion, your seasoning, salt and pepper, and then a little bit of apple cider vinegar, raw and organic if you can find it. Basically, put that on the stove and simmer it for as long as you have. I was able to get it on for 3 hours today, and this broth will be the base for our soup, our broth bowl soup. So we'll be back together in a minute and we'll get the soup started. All right, so we're ready to get started now. So I basically have my large stock pot, and it's been on the stove warming my olive oil, and I'll just add the base, and this is where all of our flavors are going to come together. So I have fresh ginger that's been chopped, and you can really do that to taste the amount and the size. And then I've got several cloves of garlic, and again, those have been chopped. I'm just adding those to the hot oil now. And then I've got an onion as well, chopped, and I'll add that in. And we'll bring all of those flavors together in just a minute with our salt and our pepper. So we'll add in salt and pepper to taste. And remember, we're going to be adding our homemade chicken stock to this. This will be the base of our soup. And you can use anise, star of anise, or anise seed just to give that a little bit of extra flavor. And then we'll be using gluten-free, low-sodium soy sauce. And we'll be back together in just a couple of minutes to bring all that together and get ready to add the rest of our vegetables. All right, so we've sauteed down our garlic, olive oil, and ginger, and some of our spices. And you could have added the mushrooms originally to that. I like to separate it. So we'll add the mushrooms in now, and you can use what you have. Different recipes call for shiitake, bella. I just used a basic organic mushroom here. Cleaned them with a dry paper towel, destemmed them, cut them into chunks. So we're going to let that go for a little bit, and then we'll come back together in a couple of minutes and add these beautiful carrots. Our carrots have nicely softened into our broth, but before we put everything together, I just want to go over what I've been doing and prepping for our next step. So basically, when I took the broth out of our chicken stock, what I had left was the vegetables that we made the stock with. I always save those because those can be used for something else. That could be pureed in the Vitamix with a little bit of miso or liquid and just used as a lunch supplement, or even eaten as they are as a side dish. And I pulled all of the chicken off of our small chicken, pulled all the small pieces off, and it left me with 2 really nice size breasts. And I may or may not use these in the broth. I'll see how it comes together. And then of course what I have left is all the bones. And I feel that this is one of the most valuable things that's left from our dish, because I save these and put these in a baggie, and then a day or two when I want a homemade egg drop soup or a quick little chicken soup, I'll put those bones right in filtered water again with fresh vegetables, and I can usually get one more kind of setting, if you will, of broth from that chicken. So in the meantime, I took some basic rice noodles and cook those. They only take a couple of minutes, and these will be going into our broth bowl. So they're cooked and they're rinsed, and we're getting ready to use those in just a second. I'll place those aside. And then the only other thing I had going in the background is I took a large tablespoon of Mellow Miso. And this is an organic miso paste. It's gluten-free and it's organic. And basically, it is just soybean with some seasoning. I took a tablespoon of that, and I just basically diluted that in water. Now, you bring your water to a boil, but be sure to let the water cool for at least a minute before you dissolve the miso paste. I'll be adding this to our broth. If you do that any sooner and the water is still boiling, it sort of takes away the probiotic benefits. So we'll be back together in just a minute to put everything together. All right, so we're ready to put it all together. So in our pot, I have basically our sauteed original spices and garlic and ginger. We added our mushrooms and then our carrots that have now been rendered down soft. I'm just adding in a tablespoon of miso that's been diluted, and I'll add that right in. And I'll add our noodles in and our chicken last. Now I always like to add as many greens as I can. I have chopped cilantro. That's really to your choice and flavor. You could add something different or you could skip it altogether. Remember, I want you to have fun with these recipes and put the things in that you have and that you like. I've got 4 green onions, and these are all raw, so I'm adding them in raw to the end. And then I've got 3 large leaves of chard, chopped, and we'll add those in. And again, that's raw as well. Now remember, our broth is really warm, so that's basically just going to wilt down and be really soft. So it's really coming together nice. We'll give you a good camera shot at the end of everything coming together. And then I've got our rice noodles, and you know, there are so many different kinds of these on the market. You could pick one that you like better if you like a thicker noodle. And at this point, the recipe is cooked, so you're not cooking these noodles any more than they already are, because they've already been cooked. So I'm stirring those in, and then of course we'll add our chicken in. Now after the holiday, both holidays, when we had leftover turkey, we just did turkey as our meat. But today, since we have the chicken all cooked up and we needed to make the stock anyway, then we'll just use the chicken. So I'm putting in all of the shredded chicken pieces that I got from our chicken stock. And I'm carefully going through it, making sure I don't have any last little bits of bones in there. I'm actually in the back of my mind trying to figure out if I can save this 2 chicken breasts for another recipe yesterday, if this is going to produce enough chicken in this soup or not. But if not, I might put like one of them in, so we'll just kind of see how it goes. We'll be back together in a minute to see the final ending.